Welcome back to another episode of the Rankable podcast. My name is Garrett Sussman of iPullRank, and I am stoked. This is a really cool conversation topic for anyone, whether you're deep in your SEO career or just getting started. I think these kind of high-level, unsexy truths about SEO are so interesting, and I am joined today by growth and SEO marketer Devin Pickell. Now, Devin's badass. He's been building this program all around, being a part-time growth help for startups, that are like kind of looking for alternative options to hiring the full-time marketer, more of like a fractional approach, flexibility, impact, expertise. And he's actually been demystifying SEO for software startups for like the past 7 years. He's been at G2, Nextiva, Privy, showing marketers like the potential that SEO has as a growth channel. Thanks for joining me today, Devin. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm excited to get in this topic. I feel like it's super timely. There's a lot of fun topics on this podcast, really tactical, and I'm like, let's just like break down some real stuff and keep it conversational. So I'm excited to get into it.
Dude, I'm so because it's like it is very easy to get into the weeds, and it's also easy to get very like theoretical as well, like talk about these big concepts. So let's talk about the real brass tacks of SEO. First off, like when you're thinking about this idea of unsexy truths, what do you mean by that?
It's the things that all of us SEO marketers, at some point in our career, whether it's now or maybe at a past company, we all have experienced at least one of these truths. I'm excited to get into them, and I know, like Garrett, I'm sure you could resonate with them. And I'm sure a lot of folks who are going to listen to this could be like, "Damn, like that was me at my previous company," or maybe we're at right now, and hoping that you could resonate with that.
Dude, well, I mean, whether you're working like software or e-commerce across the board, the first one that caught my attention, and you've talked about this before, is this idea that not every business should prioritize SEO, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's like, we as SEOs can get in this big echo chamber. I think marketing in general, between LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, whatever content we consume regularly, it's, we're convinced that this is like the silver bullet for any type of brand, when in reality, I think we can take a step back and realize, there are specific businesses where maybe SEO is not the right approach right now. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're like a really early stage startup. You're just getting your feet beneath you. You're like, all right, I need to make a good marketing hire. Let's make a splash. SEO should probably be a little further back in the marketing priorities. I say like slow your roll a bit on that. I would personally, and it's crazy saying this is a SEO on an SEO podcast, but I would be like, embrace product marketing. Maybe that might be your first like good hire. Someone who could like help you understand your product market fit. Where do you even fit? What are the competitive advantages you have, and maybe some shortcomings? A liaison between like marketing and the product team, and someone who could like create that streamline communication, especially in a remote setting. And then like somebody who has a pulse on your customers, especially in those very early days. I think product is crucial. And then you could, once you grow and have your feet beneath you, you have a proven business model, then maybe SEO can become a more realistic option.
That resonates with me because I've worked at really small startups where your resources are super limited. The thing that I think that's important to call out, and I love the product marketing angle, because especially when you're working at a SaaS, like talking to customers is key, understanding them, figuring out what content resonates with them. At the same time, even though it's not a priority, you're still able to plant the seeds for your long-term SEO strategy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's all about identifying customers and even like prospective customers. Who do we want to target? And an SEO, when they come in with a playbook, some keyword research, that product marketing seed that's been planted is going to only contribute and help that SEO in the future. So Yeah, it's SEOs can be flexible, especially nowadays when we're all asked to do a little bit more. But I would say in those early days, get your product solid. Now, that's not to say, if you already have that proven business model, you're generating consistent revenue, maybe you've hit a plateau, right? And now you're like looking for different ways to grow. Maybe there's different channels out there we're not currently tapping. Yeah, SEO comes in, new content ideas. How can we capture demand from search? Can they make recommendations for improving the website? Maybe some of your landing pages. Is there site structure opportunities there? Can we put our best foot forward with some higher converting pages? So that's like where SEO really shines.
Yeah, I get that too, because it's like you're not necessarily going to win the top of the funnel searches right out of the gate if you are, relatively a brand new website. However, if you're answering those questions and you're still creating content at the bottom of the funnel that's really specifically addressing that those customers who are looking for your solution, that's still going to be indexed and surfaced on Google, because it is going to still be a long tail keyword that might have a higher conversion than some of the top of the funnel, kind of like beginning of the buyer's journey content.
Exactly. Yeah. So shout out to my product marketers out there. I know it's not easy, and just like SEOs, y'all going to be flexible too, and span across multiple teams. But yeah, again, get your product knowledge beneath you and target those customers. SEO will come in and will be your tag team 1-2 punch.
Dude, and product marketing, like product marketers are so high in demand. The number two unsexy truth though that you threw my way, that it's like every SEO is going to feel this one. You said SEO attribution may be scrutinized.
Yep.
Give it to me.
And I think, even with GA4 really just kind of rolling out now, and folks are, with universal analytics, we had this like sense of comfort, and now we're thrown like into a loop with trying to relearn some of the core metrics that SEOs were always comfortable with tracking. There's just so much, there's frankly too much to track with SEO, typically sessions, clicks, position, things like engagement rates now, and engaged sessions with GA4, but again, marketing and budgets under more of a microscope now. I would say if you're able to attribute your SEO work to at least one goal, I say find one goal that could work for you outside of traffic and rankings, and see how you can move the needle on that.
I feel like that is so on point, because it's like there are different ways to try to attribute SEO, but it's like when you're marketing long enough, you realize that there's a lot of BS out there, and like there's no perfect way. And it also is so tied to your business. Like you mentioned GA4, which is feels like a dumpster fire to some extent, and people are still figuring that out, but you still need to show some value. So how do you think about that? You mentioned kind of like the one goal, for SaaS teams that are starting up and you're using GA4, how do you iterate on your attribution? So, even if it's not like the definitive gold standard, you have something to talk to your exec team about.
Totally. I would say, again, find, one, your event's got to be set up in GA. Yep. First and foremost, I mean, if you're not tracking events, it's going to be a whole world of pain moving forward. And honestly, like trying to get a seat at the table for SEO will be just that harder if events aren't tracked. Once you have events tracked and you find an event that you can move in tandem with SEO, commit to that. So, I can give another example. And this was actually, something we were tracking in Privy. So say free trial signups, you could definitely influence that through SEO. I'll give you a few things. Say there's like mid-funnel blog opportunities. You could do keyword research, addressing like a problem solution framework, and then framing your software as a solution. And that's one thing. You could track the events coming through, newly posted articles that target that, and see if you're moving the needle on free trials. One thing I like to do is I like to add a heat map to some of our like highest traffic landing pages. It gives you like nice user behavior insight. All right, maybe we can add like a trial sign up form. There's a specific module we see people are really, it's like a hotspot on the site. Let's see if we could add that in, and maybe even if it nets 10 new trials that month, hey, that's something to report on. Another thing I like to do, and I'll talk about this a bit later, like take the boring content from your competitors, repackage it into something like interactive, like an assessment, quiz, template style landing page, just like a really cool freemium tool, something that makes your content like really stands out. Maybe that'll encourage trials, even if you're, like I said, able to net 5 to 10, maybe even more trials monthly for that. That's something that could be attributed to your SEO work and working in tandem with the content team. So.
I love the call out around the interactives and thinking outside the boring content, because we'll talk about that more. But, there is this movement in the world of SaaS in terms of like the interactive demo of like not just depending on your salespeople to get the value of your product or even the free trials in front of your customers. Like if you can get something, whether it's a free tool that's feature adjacent to your software or the actual software itself, that's going to create such a better experience. And that is something that Google will surface a lot of times if you have, optimized those pages where that interactive is.
Of course. Yeah. I have an example later I'll share with y'all about exactly like scoping the landscape out there, being like, wow, this is really boring. We could totally do better in this. And then really applying the SEO work after the launch and building that momentum later. But yeah, like, again, find an event and move the needle with SEO. And it's incremental growth. It'll take attempts, but there's like power and consistency and repetitions.
Dude, that's marketing. So much trial and error these days. But I want to move on to Unsexy Truth SEO number 3, which is and I've had this experience in-house too. It's so easy to get siloed as an in-house SEO.
For sure, man. It can be a lonely role, and it's due honestly to the mysterious nature of our work, right? Some days we're doing backlink outreach. People are like, what the hell is a backlink? Like, what is the value really to our business? Why are we sending outreach emails? Some days it's, crawling the site and passing over like a more technical report to the dev team. They're like, all right, what is this? We got features to ship. It's a lot of weird work that we do. It's, of course, the SEOs know it's impactful, but it's easy to get siloed because a lot of folks still to this day, it's sort of like this weird concept. So,
not to call out your past experiences, like, not even specific companies, but have you found it consistent? Like, is there a certain perspective around SEO, or has it varied from your personal experiences or even people you've talked to?
It's varied from company to company, and honestly, I would say companies that are more like inbound led, inbound marketing led, definitely have a bit better grasp on the inner workings of SEO and the role it contributes to the greater marketing team. But yeah, I have, I won't name names, but there has been experiences in-house working alongside some more technical, really bright SEOs, but maybe they don't always get a seat at the table when it comes to website updates. Product team may push something and they're like, whoa, where did this come from? It's not optimized. It's not even on brand, frankly. It's not following like a certain style guide, product updates, other decisions that could definitely impact your work. And I definitely have a couple of solutions for this, Garrett. And I think this can apply to really like any role outside of SEO. Like literally any role, you need to be your own biggest fan. And I would say like this needs to be tenfold if you're in a remote setting. I'm a big fan of like shouting from the rooftops, your work, your results, findings. I'll give you a couple examples. Like ranked number 1 for a competitive term, immediately ping the company Slack channel. Like take a screenshot, be like, yo, we did this at Nextiva all the time. And Nextiva was definitely like an inbound led company. We were always very meticulous about shedding light on our results. Hey, we hit number one for VoIP for VoIP, which is, I can't even tell you how, maybe a couple 100,000 searches.
Not nothing.
Yeah. Oh man, we worked our asses off for that. And hey, that's hard work. Show the company what you're doing. If you got a backlink, that takes a lot of work. Tell people about where you were featured. Maybe even have them engage with the article. Hey, let's publish this on LinkedIn. Let's show the brand a little love. Maybe they'll reciprocate, or we could create a partnership at some point. If you're up organic search, X, say 10, 15%, that's a hell of a result. Maybe, again, go on Slack, share some bullet points. Did you have any findings? What are some things we could double down on? These are just, and I'll have another one. I love being like the go-to person for like everything in the search world. So, hey, Google, of course, like the algorithm updates, you don't need to get too in depth with those, but things like, hey, I'm noticing a different SERP feature in the wild. Are y'all seeing TikTok show up for more how-to searches? And this is stuff you can like pass directly over to your content team. And I promise you, they're going to appreciate you for it.
Yeah, I mean, that is such a key part of it too, is like shouting out to the rooftops about your own performance, but also aligning and like realizing where you can help your coworkers. Because whether it's the content team or the dev team, or like, that's one thing I appreciate really well, like at iPullRank, is like our, director of engineering, John Murchis, builds the tools and we have a great relationship. So it's like when he's building one of our tools, because we communicate, it gets done, as opposed to, not calling out names, but in past roles, it's like, if you don't have that kind of on the same page as like an engineering team or a content team, it's like pulling teeth to get like some of the stuff done and to help them, right?
Yeah. And the reality may be a bit different at, say, a larger organization that has a VP of search or director of SEO, and then there's a certain established pecking order where SEO is maybe, has its established role within the org. But yeah, at a startup, especially, you need to be your own biggest fan.
Okay. And finally, I do want to ask, like, you said there's this idea that there's no one size fits all solution to SEO. What do you mean?
My final unsexy truth. There's no shortage of SEO advice. I said this earlier on LinkedIn, on Twitter. It's coming from all different angles. And you got to kind of audit your own experience. Sometimes like there is some really great advice out there. For me, I love learning, like it'll inspire new ideas for your site. But I say it's like a 60-40 experience. Like 60% of the times, it's just noise you got to sift through. I actually wrote recently on LinkedIn about it, and I saw you engage with it about lately I've been seeing a lot of these like massive SEO site audits, really technical stuff, cherry-picked results, maybe like blurred out charts here or there. But I actually saw like other SEOs getting tagged in this, and I'm like, I've experienced this personally where say like a director or VP will Slack you and they're like, hey, did you see this? Hey, let's do this, or let's check this out and like scrap what we're doing. And it, derails everything. And I guess like to summarize it, like, yeah, there is no one size fits all. Things like the scale of your business, right? Startup versus enterprise,
Yeah.
maturity of your business in the market. How long have you been around? Are there specific ways your customers are searching for you? For example, at Privy, it's in the e-commerce space. That's a totally different type of search than when I was at Nextiva, telecommunications. These are two different search profiles. All these things can impact your SEO strategy. And it's, of course, there's best practices you can sprinkle throughout. But, if you're a tiny business, I mentioned like scaling up content production, that might be have a larger impact than, say, a technical site audit. On the flip side, if you're this huge, massive business, been in business for several years, maybe you need a technical cleanup. Maybe you need to, improve your internal linking or do a redirect practice. That might have a bigger impact than, hey, let's produce another piece of content. So, yeah, I would say reduce external distractions and have faith in your SEOs. That's what you hired them for.
Dude, it's so true though, because it's like I think a lot of people want a like blanket instruction manual, and it's funny. One of the reasons that resonates with me is like your business is like your baby or your pet. If you've ever had a kid, or if you have like a dog or a cat, it's like I'm gonna throw my own dog into the doghouse, if you will, Lucy, mini golden doodle, right? When we first got her, she has such anxiety, and you go online, you try to find like how to reduce anxiety in dogs, and like there were so many different pieces of advice that just didn't work for her. And it wasn't until like I talked to a few friends with a lot of experience with dogs. They're like, oh, well, you go up 2 flights of stairs today. You have to do, to walk her. You have to like do this slow process. And that's what'll work for her that you wouldn't find online. It's the same with your business.
Yep. Yeah. There's so much hidden context that need to be taken into account. Trust your SEOs.
Dude, that's great. Y'all should totally hit up Devin, because I mean, you have some availability for new clients at this point, right?
I do. I'm wide open, folks. I'm active on LinkedIn, active on Twitter. I think Garrett will drop the links post podcast, but I'm always down for a good conversation. Even if you want to hop on a Zoom and chat like Garrett and I are now, I got time.
I love that. No, I'm glad that you and I like have taken the time to like get to know each other and interacted on social. It really is a pleasure. Are you down to do some rapid fire rankings?
Let's do it, man. I think I'm ready.
Okay. He's been ready. We're putting on the music. We're throwing up the clock. Here we go. Okay. We're diving in. Short answers. Let's do this. Rank your top 3 of something that you love. It can be anything, irreverent, personal hobby, TV shows. Top 3, go.
Oh man, top 3 TV shows. All right, I'm gonna say Breaking Bad. It's almost like a 1A, 1B for me. Breaking Bad, Sopranos, and then 3. I'm gonna say Last of Us. It was a hit for me. And they're all kind of sort of along the same lines of genre, but I'm a sucker.
So good. We need to talk more about that show after this. Okay, rank your best SEO or marketing win.
All right, I'll try to make this quick. And it was a pretty recent one. Privy had this SMS tool, right? They're really established in like the list growth email space. With the launch of SMS, a lot of small businesses are like, how do I work this into my marketing mix? I scoured around and I was like, all right, what's out there right now for like SMS marketing templates or tools? I saw there was a lot of like really boring, like 5,000 word, like, oh, use these templates, just really like volume-based blog posts. So what I did, I went back to our Devin design agency. I was like, I want to make this interactive. So what we built was a click to copy templates. All right, say I need a Black Friday SMS template. Boom, you can categorize. You click it, it brings you right down. And we had recreated the exact SMS product that was in product, but took it into a public-facing landing page. And folks could just, to remove some of the hesitation, it was like a sandbox. You could just play around with it, edit the text, and then really get a gist for the type of content you're sending customers over their phones. So that was a win. And built some links after that. And if you look up SMS marketing templates right now on Google, it should still be the top result.
Dude, I love that. It's comprehensive, but that sounds like a massive win. Okay, rank your top 3 SEO tools.
I've been Ahrefs. Some people say Ahrefs, but I've been an Ahrefs guy since the beginning, man. I would say I'm a power user. I could do just about anything in that, and it really uncovers like all the insights you need as an SEO. Number 2 is Search Console. I would say Google Analytics, but GA4 and I are on best terms right now. And 3 is more of like CRO, but I would say Hotjar. I think SEOs need if utilizing a tool like Hotjar and seeing heat maps and user behavior on a page, it just unlocks really the next level of insights.
I think that makes sense. I mean, SEO doesn't stop at CRO. You still have to get the conversion. That's what makes these keywords valuable. Rank your best SEO trick or tactic.
Leading with value for backlinks. I'll almost never be in your inbox, anyone listening to this, asking for a link straight up. Without providing value first. I could actually, I used to do this all the time at Nextiva, and it helped us like really build this backlink moat against big competitors like RingCentral or Dialpad or Zoom. I would plug in a site on Ahrefs, see what they're ranking for. All right, they're on page 2. All right, I'm working on a guest post right now. I know this is a competitive term they're on page 2 for. If I can hook them up with the link, this may be enough to nudge them on to page 1. Guest post goes live, link is live, it's for awesome domain. That's after that work is done, now I'm talking to the content manager on LinkedIn. Hey, I got you guys a link, explain the value of the link, my strategy behind earning on that specific one. Let me know if y'all rank on page 1 in a couple weeks. Let me celebrate with you. Hey, do you want to form a partnership after this? Now you got sites rooting for you, and now they're in your corner, and that's true backlink building right there.
Dude, I love that. I like the method to the madness because it's like people, don't always understand how you get from point A to point B, and so kind of mapping it out does make a lot of sense. Okay, so rank what you love most about SEO.
It's staying on my toes, always changing, always learning. I come from a baseball background, played baseball all my life throughout college, and super competitive. And SEO is hyper competitive. You guys know this at iPullRank. It's every day is a little fight, and I love just like learning. And again, there's no one size fits all, and varying from business to business. Again, just keeps me on my toes. And we can get in a whole conversation about AI and how it's affecting search. But yeah, I think just learning.
It's fascinating. Okay, so speaking of, rank your best learning SEO resource.
In no particular order, I say Andy Cristonia. He's the CMO of Orbit. I've been posting a lot of like really quick 1-minute videos on LinkedIn, just going back to the basics. And I think, regardless of SEO level, it's good to read his stuff, listen to his stuff. It's a good palate cleanser. Adam Goyat, he's a good buddy of mine, founder of Curtis. Not quite SEO related, but he has a very thorough marketing newsletter. Goes out every Friday. Just will constantly push you out of your comfort zone. Eddie Schlainer, he's the founder of Very Good Copy. Not quite SEO, but I mean, if you're looking to brush up your writing skills, your copywriting skills particularly, he is phenomenal for that. Will make you more multifaceted.
His newsletter is really great too. He has a fantastic one. And finally, rank your number one cause or charity that you want to promote.
I'd say Habitat for Humanity. My fiance, a couple years ago, built a home on the south side of Chicago. They do a lot of great work for low-income families, and seeing the support that there was around that and how excited she was to do it, it really inspired me. So that's the cause I'm behind right now.
There you have it. I love Habitat for Humanity. I actually did it back in high school. I remember I was involved in that. It's a great organization. Devin, dude, so informed. You're so fun to talk to. Obviously, you and I have a lot in common. We mentioned LinkedIn. What is your Twitter handle if someone wants to find you in the Bird app?
Yeah, it's at DevinPickell, just my name.
That's easy. We win when we get our names as our handles. Thank you so much for joining me on Rankable. This has been an awesome podcast. People will be able to find you through the description notes. And anything else you want to say to the good people in podcast land?
Again, hit me up. I'm open for just good conversations, good vibes. Yeah.
I love our community industry. Thank you so much again. My name is Garrett Sussman of iPullRank. We will catch you next week. Signing off. Catch you later. Peace.